Bruneians have long favored working in the government. We're now inviting our young people to now turn that completely on its head. This very strong grip on our need for security and stability, and start to take more risks. So, Khairy, with that as some context, how do we then manage that execution?
It's not easy. I mean, I'm going to be as blunt as possible. Not just young people, but most job seekers tend to gravitate towards something that can give them a job for life. And fortunately or unfortunately, in Malaysia and in Brunei, I'm told, the public sector is something that offers that security. In fact, the public sector is probably the only sector that still offers that security of having a job for life. Not just a job for life, I don't know about Brunei, but a pension for life after that. So you are gainfully employed in the public sector until you're 60, and then after that, you're guaranteed a pension for life. I want to share the perspective of Malaysia, Jenny. You know, our public pension bill right now is more than almost 30 billion ringgit a year. That's 10% of your annual budget is on pensions, government pensions, not universal pensions, government pensions. Your top graduates will not want to become entrepreneurs. Your top graduates will not want to start a business. Rather, they would fly or they would go to the safe haven of government service, the Brunei Administrative Service, and say that this is where I should be. And as a result of that, everyone else will want to be there as well. Now, I'm not saying that a career in the civil service is not good. I think we need good civil servants. Even in Malaysia, a sensitive point. No politician in Malaysia is ever going to say, we're going to reduce the number of civil servants. You're going to lose the election. Yeah? But what we can say is that over time, the civil service must be fit for purpose. New recruitment, maybe less. Redeployment of civil servants from clerical, process-driven activities that can be done by AI into things that really are only done by uniquely human beings that cannot be replicated by AI. Make sure that security and entitlement is given. I know Brunei is very good at this, but is given regardless of whether or not you go into the civil service. So good, universal pension. Good access to public healthcare, universal healthcare. So that they know even if I'm not in the civil service, I have access to a universal pension later. I have access to good healthcare when I'm older. I have access to subsidized housing so that I can have housing for my family. So that way, they're willing to say, okay, I don't need the security blanket of being in the government sector. I can actually be a risk taker. So secondly, that. And third is embedding that culture and DNA early on in the education system. You know, I always used to wonder when people told me, you have to start teaching entrepreneurship in schools. I thought to myself, can you even teach that? But I was actually missing the point. It's not really teaching entrepreneurship, but it's teaching values of entrepreneurship. And what is that? Risk-taking. The ability to convert an idea into something that can become a business. The ability to turn something that you've thought about, which is disruptive to an industry, raising the capital, taking the risk, acquiring the customers, and growing that business. So I think for Malaysia, and perhaps even in Brunei, because we have very similar backgrounds, our education system is traditionally quite rote, quite exam-based, quite risk-averse, and not enough of this pushing that risk-taking, that adventurous, that entrepreneurial values that you need to see to harness these young people that you spoke of, Jenny.